Hi, this is Mark Laughlin, speaking for the Ambidextrous Gunfighter. Going to do a little re-zeroing of my Ruger 1022. Mounted the, I got another Weaver V3 123 power, very low power variable optic. And so I'm going to mount it on my Ruger 1022. And usually I've kept my Ruger 1022 just zeroed for 25 meters, and it's been pretty much a dedicated Project Appleseed rifle marksmanship clinic type rifle. But with my renewed admiration for the 22 LR, and you can see my video how the 22 wins 9mm versus 22 long rifle, which is based on the research by Greg Ellifritz and NATO and U.S. Army Handbook of Human Vulnerability. Now I've decided, based on that, I've decided to elevate my Ruger 1022 from just this specialized Appleseed rifle to a more versatile hunting, poaching, and maybe herber sniper platform. Now, I originally had the old Simmons 4X 22 mag scope on it, which has been excellent. It's just a really cheap Chinese made optic, but has performed wonderfully over the years. I earned it's earning many rifleman's packages. I've earned rifleman scores myself, and many of my students at Project Appleseed have also earned their patch using this rifle. Now, it always looked a little bit odd because I had to mount, because of the way the long eye relief, somewhat long eye relief on this Simmons. I think it's like about 3.5 to 4 inch eye relief. And so I had to mount it pretty far forward to get the proper eye relief when doing the Project Appleseed turkey neck cheek weld. And so I had to mount both rings behind the turret. So always looked a little bit weird, worked great, but just looked a little odd, and always got lots of comments every time I did a review on the rifle or did something with the rifle in video. I always get people saying, well, why you got those rings mounted behind the turrets like that? So anyway, that's one advantage of the Weaver V3. It's a little bit shorter eye relief, and I can actually get the rings spaced out from one set of rings on the in front of the turrets and one behind the turret. And also I figure the Weaver variable optic will be a little more useful for snowshoe hare hunting. So I started thinking, if I'm going to make this a more versatile rifle, not a dedicated specialized Appleseed 25 meter rifle, what's going to be my battle sight zero? So I anticipated that if I was thinking I might ever attend a 200-yard Appleseed rimfire known distance, I'd go with a battle sight zero of 9 yards near and 127 yards distant, with an intermediate apogee of 5.1 inches, which would be very similar to how I do the battle sight zeros on everything else I have. I have that intermediate apogee like 5 inches above the line of sight. And with that, at 25 and 50 yards, I could set my magnification at 2x and then use the thick part of the duplex radio, the vertical stadia in the duplex reticle, to hold under about 8.5 minute of angle. But for the standard, more normal 100-yard Project Appleseed rimfire known distance, and also for hunting snowshoe hares, I think that a 17-yard zero near with a approximately 70-something yard distant zero is more appropriate. This trajectory leaves us with a 1/2 inch hold under at 25 yards, and so that's workable for like a pumpkin on the post or 6 o'clock hold for the standard Project Appleseed events, or I can just click down 2 minute of angle. And then for the 100-yard rimfire known distance, we'd have a 0.5 inch hold under for offhand at the 25-yard range, a 1 inch hold under for sitting at 50 yards, and a 1/4 inch hold over for rapid fire prone at 75 yards, a quarter inch, I mean, just aim dead on really for that one. And then a 3.2 inch hold over for the 100 yard slow fire prone, and that's pretty much almost to the thick part of the duplex reticle at when running at full 3x magnification. Now, to achieve a 17 yard zero, I'll zero at 25 yards and seek a point of impact 1/2 inch high. So to achieve a 17 yard zero, I'm going to actually zero at 25 yards, but I'll look for a point of impact to be a 1/2 inch high at 25 yards. Well, then we'll do a quick AQT to see if I can internalize that 1/2 inch hold under when working at the 25 meter range, and see if I can still get good results. And then we'll also visit the 50 yard and the 100 yard ranges just to kind of verify the trajectory. I'll be doing the zeroing and most of the AQT with Browning BRP ammo. Not as reliable as the CCI Mini Mag, but accuracy is okay. And then we'll use some of the Precious Mini Mag at 50 and 100 yards to compare Browning BRP. Most likely I won't be able to discern any real difference in trajectory. Largely it'll be mixed up in the noise of my own marksmanship skills. Will I miss the 4x power of the Simmons compared to the 3x power of the Weaver? The Weaver certainly looks better, though. I did have to remove the peep sight on the Ruger 1022 that came with my collector series, and just to get it to clear the eyepiece on the Weaver. That was one advantage of this the Simmons, is that the eyepiece is a consistent diameter, and it was able to actually mount in low rings and still fit right over top of a Picatinny rail. Whereas the Weaver V3, if I start sliding it forward, I do at some point run out of clearance between the pick rail and the Weaver. Fortunately, I got the eye relief I needed with it just barely missing the pick rail. So let's proceed and do some testing. So there's my 5-shot group. Actually I shot 6, but I recognized that I did a flyer on that one, pulled it, so I went ahead and fired an extra one to get my 5-shot group. So I'm going to call that I'm down over groups that I say about right there. So that's 1, 2, 3 inches to the left, so that's 12 minute of angle. I got to move to the right, and then 1, 2, 2, 3 and a half to move it up. So that's 14 minute of angle up. So 12 to the right, 14 up. Okay, so we're going to move it 12 minute of angle to the right, and these are quarter minute of angle clicks. So 4 times 12 is 48, so 48 clicks to the right. If I remember right, these are, well, let's do 48 clicks. Clicks to the right. This one's 14 minute of angle up. Oh man, it's cold today and I'm blowing. Here's my group. Pretty much right where I want it to be, except I want it about a little bit higher. I want it to be a half an inch higher. I was shooting for dead center there, and I'm kind of hitting dead center. So I need to bring it up 1/2 of an inch, and that would be 2 minutes of angle, and then that's a 1/4 minute of angle per click. So I'll do 8 clicks up. Okay, I had a couple that I definitely called, so I went ahead and fired all 10 rounds in the magazine, and so I got the 2 flyers there, definitely up a little bit higher, but I really want it to be up about that line there, so I'm up a little bit too high, so I think I'll bring it back 2 clicks. Okay, so here's kind of the Project Appleseed, it's called the red coats, and it's just a quick drill, standing, sitting, rapid fire prone, slow fire prone, and then it's called the headshot, the shingle shot. I really struggled on offhand, which is unusual, but I think the wind was really buffeting me around a lot. Okay, got all hits on the sitting portion, which I usually do squatting or regular sitting. I did the kneeling because it's freezing cold and it's a pain in the ass. All hits on the 300 yard. A little tighter group on the 400 yard, but I was shooting a little bit too low, looks like. So I'll have to maybe check some more. Looks like I got the headshot pretty good. I was aiming for that bottom edge there, so that's about where I want it to be on my hits, so I like that. So now let's go check it out at 50 yards. Alright, so here we are. We shot at 50 yards. I did switch to the CCI Mini Mag and had a couple of caught flyers. I mean, it's freezing cold and the wind was definitely buffeting me around a bit. But you can see it's kind of the best part of my group is right there. There's my aiming point. And I was looking for about an inch high at 50 yards. So I think we're looking good here. So let's go repeat this drill at 100 yards. Alright, so we finished at the 100 yard, and I had the target posted horizontally like that because I thought the wind was is atrocious down here 100 yards. I thought that with the tunnel at the start of it, I get a little protection there, and then there's some berms down the first, say, 40 yards. I thought might provide protection, but as I was walking down there, I realized they weren't really providing protection. In fact, it seemed like they were creating a lot of turbulence. And then down the last 50 yards, it's a full value wind blowing probably 30 miles an hour. And anyway, so the shots were, here's my group there. I was aiming for there, and my shots were here. And expected them to be about 3.2 inches low, and they're not quite 3 inches low, so I guess that's good. I was using the CCI Mini Mag, so expect it to be a little hotter, a little bit flatter. And so anyway, I mean, despite the wind and freezing cold today, a pretty good test of the at least getting the Weaver V3 1 to 3 power optic zeroed. And trying it out, I think it works. It works really good. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's any functioning for me any better than the Simmons was, but it does look cooler. So there's that factor, and it is a really nice variable power optic, a very low variable power optic. But anyway, and also, although we didn't shoot a ton of it today, we shot probably 40 rounds of the Browning BRP and had no problems with it. And like previous tests I've done, I found that the variation in accuracy between different ammos, whether it's CCI Mini Mag all the way down to what I consider the most unreliable is the Browning BRP, they all shoot, accuracy-wise, shoot pretty damn close. And in fact, I can't really distinguish between them, you know, in the noise of my own inaccuracy as a shooter. So anyway, the 50-yard range was certainly, you know, the results there were quite a bit better. You would expected that if I continued that kind of group at 100 yards, it would have been much smaller group. But I was kind of protected by a big berm there, so I didn't have to fight the wind nearly as much there. And while there was a little bit of turbulence, I was pretty well protected there. I was kind of hugging that berm, trying to gain that advantage. But over at the 100-yard range, it's pretty brutal. The wind was really blowing and gusting a lot. It was even time I thought I'd be protected here and behind the tunnel, shooting through the tunnel. And I wasn't. It was actually gusts were hitting me, and definitely I had to try to time my shots between gust to wind, because if a gust hit me, it definitely pulled my shots. So anyway, I think what I've got here is it's a versatile setup that I can use for Project Appleseed. I can do the pumpkin on a post 6 o'clock hold for Project Appleseed at 25 meters, or take this setup out and hunt snowshoe hare out to probably 75. If I really wanted to push it, maybe 100 yards, but 75 yards, I think I could definitely do a snowshoe hare with it. And with this Battle Sight Zero that I've got set up on this, which is different than the Battle Sight Zero than all my other rifles, but it's nice to have that. You know, within 100 yards, I can pretty much be confident that I can make hits, especially if it's not blowing, you know, like stink like it is today, and freezing cold. As it's getting where it's so cold, I'm just kind of rushing things to get out of here and get back to the house where it's warm. It's Mark Laughlin speaking for the Ambidextrous Gunfighter. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.